call this meeting, June 11th, of the Romulus Board of Education to order. Can I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Freyer is absent, excused. Mrs. Buckley.
Here.
Mr. Kudrick.
Present.
Ms. Lanasi.
Present.
Mr. Mankiewicz.
Here.
Ms. Roscoe.
Here.
And Ms. White.
We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need a motion for the approval of the agenda, and we are changing A and B. We're switching them around. The retirement resolutions will be first and at A, and then personnel actions at B.
Madam President, I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Mankiewicz, supported by Ms. Lanasi. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we need approval of the minutes of the previous meetings, and we have two.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve our minutes of the regular meeting from May 14th as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. White for the May 14th meeting. Do I have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now I need a motion for the special meeting of May 21st.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of our special meeting of May 21st.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Mr. Mankiewicz. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a report of the superintendent. Mr. Weiss?
Yes, we have some resolutions for retirement. I believe the custom is for the board to read the resolution.
Yes. Is everybody ready? Everyone has somebody different to read. Tom, I think you're first.
I am first. Miss Teresa Blissman. I'll protect you, Teresa.
Listen to me. Whereas Teresa Blissman has served the Romulus Community School District for 23 years in the position of paraprofessional and intervention specialist. Whereas Teresa Blissman has been commended as a dedicated professional. And whereas Teresa Blissman has served as president, vice president, secretary, grievance person, and building representative for the Romulus Federation of Paraprofessionals, Local 3422. And whereas Teresa Blissman additionally extended herself as past president, Wick Elementary School PTA, and whereas Teresa Blissman further dedicated much extra time to the band program, and whereas Teresa Blissman was a co-writer of the award-winning No Bullying program, and whereas Teresa Blissman was involved with the various programs at Barth Elementary School, organized and ran the school fair, organized various fundraisers, facilitated the positive behavior program, and served as safety and student council facilitator, served as student activity coordinator, and served as a volunteer with the Barth Elementary PTC. And whereas Teresa Blissman served as the district climate committee, and whereas Teresa Blissman was a runner-up for the Michigan Support Staff of a Year award, and whereas Teresa Blissman was applauded by an administrator for being very cooperative, supportive, and extremely well organized. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend Teresa Blissman for her exemplary 23-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to Teresa Blissman and her family on a wonderful and rewarding retirement. Signed, Celeste Roscoe, President, Naima White, Secretary.
Okay, I have the next one. Mr. Clark, could you come right here, please? Put you on front and center for a change. Romulus Community School District Board of Education Resolution. Whereas Ed Clark has served the Romulus Community School District as an administrator for 25 years in the positions of substitute teacher, adult education teacher, district director for the Partnership for Education, the mentoring program, and the Business Education Alliance, co-op coordinator, adult education supervisor, middle school assistant principal, middle school principal, and human resource director. And whereas Edward Clark was commended for his planning and execution of business education exchange days, Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations, and Parent Teen Day. And whereas Edward Clark worked diligently with the business community in bringing the Partners in Education program to the Romulus School District and distinguished himself as a leader with local businesses. And whereas Edward Clark has spent countless hours and weekends striving for the betterment of Romulus schools for its students, staff, parents, and community. And whereas Edward Clark has distinguished himself as fair and consistent and has always been sensitive with the concerns of students, staff, and parents while serving in his various positions throughout the district. And whereas Edward Clark additionally extended himself by attending numerous student and staff award ceremonies, science fairs, graduation, athletic events, and community events. And whereas Edward Clark fostered positive relations and was proactive in his dealings with district unions. And whereas Edward Clark frequently mentored colleagues and staff members. And whereas Edward Clark was lauded for his frequent exemplary attendance that demonstrated his professionalism and dedication to his job. Now therefore be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend Edward Clark for his exemplary 25-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The Board of Education also extends best wishes to Edward Clark and his family on a wonderful and fulfilling retirement. Signed, Celeste Roscoe, President, Romulus Board of Education, Naima White, Secretary. Congratulations, I need some water after that one. It was so long.
I have the next one, John DeForest. It says, whereas John DeForest has served the Romulus Community School District for 30 years in the positions of custodian at South Junior High, Special Services in Beacon, and head custodian at Corey Elementary and Mount Pleasant. And whereas John DeForest was commended as a dedicated professional, dependable, and very prompt. And whereas John DeForest additionally extended himself in assisting with school activities throughout the school years. And whereas John DeForest has always maintained a safe learning environment for students, staff, and parents. And whereas John DeForest was lauded by an administrator for maintaining a clean and orderly building and stated also polite and willing to help. And whereas John DeForest was also commended for always being polite and willing to help. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend John DeForest for his exemplary 30-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to John DeForest and his family on a wonderful and rewarding retirement. Signed by myself, Celeste Roscoe, and Naima White, Secretary.
Thank you.
Okay, I have the next one. Mr. Dolan, front and center.
Come stand up straight. Don't slouch it.
Romulus Community School District Board of Education Resolution. Whereas Thomas Dolan has served the Romulus Community School District as administrator for 28 years in the positions of founder and director of Beacon Day Treatment, middle school principal, high school principal, and director of curriculum. And whereas Thomas Dolan has written and received grants on behalf of the Romulus School District totaling $6 million, including the School Improvement Grant, Service Learning Grant, Comprehensive School Reform Grant, Reading First Grant, Vista Grant, Michigan Arts Grant, 21st Century Community Learning Centers Grant, Summer School Grants, and whereas Thomas Dolan initiated many special programs for the Romulus schools and Romulus community, such as the district academic initiatives, the Teaching and Learning Manual, mentor training, North Central Transitions Accreditation for every school in the district, Martin Luther King Jr. Annual Celebration, Student of the Month, Prom Toast, Senior Luncheon, Learning to Give. Whereas Thomas Dolan received a Distinguished Milken Foundation Award, testified before the United States Congress on behalf of the Service Learning Bill, attended President Clinton's signing of the Service Learning Bill at the White House. Whereas Thomas Dolan served as an NCA ambassador, is a board member of the Governor's Michigan Community Service Commission, serves as a board member of the League. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend Thomas Dolan for his exemplary 28-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to Thomas and his family on a wonderful and rewarding retirement. Celeste Roscoe, President, Naima White, Secretary.
Joyce Evans. This is Joyce number 1, by the way. She's always letting me know that whenever I visit. Romulus Community School District Board of Education Resolution. Whereas Joyce Evans has served the Romulus Community School District for 19 years in the positions of bus driver, bus aide for Transportation Department, secretary at Corey Elementary, counseling secretary at Romulus High School, and secretary at Adult Education. And whereas Joyce Evans has been a caring and sensitive person to all the students with whom she has worked, and whereas Joyce Evans additionally extended herself in organizing staff talent shows, award nights, assisted with graduations, and McEducators Day, and numerous high school activities for the Romulus High School students, and whereas Joyce Evans organized graduation ceremonies for adult education students, and whereas Joyce Evans has brought energy and excitement to all the positions she has held, and whereas Joyce Evans is very cooperative, supportive, and extremely well organized. Now therefore be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend Joyce Evans for her exemplary 19-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to Joyce Evans and her family on a wonderful and rewarding retirement. Celeste Roscoe, President, Romulus Board of Education. Naima White, Secretary, given this 11th day of June, 2007.
You got the next one?
Okay, it's me again. Connie Consuelo Knight. Right here in front of you. Romulus Community School District Board of Education Resolution. Whereas Consuelo Knight has served the Romulus Community School District 31 years in the positions of Receptionist and Secretary of Transportation at Central Office, and whereas Connie Knight additionally extended herself with assisting with the fish philosophy in Romulus Community Schools, and whereas Connie Knight further dedicated much extra time to preparing and assisting with the employee programs, and whereas Connie Knight was lauded by an administrator for being supportive and extremely well organized, and whereas Consuelo Knight was lauded by an administrator for the punctuality and punctuality and dependability. Now therefore be resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend Consuelo Knight for her exemplary 31-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to Consuelo Knight and her family, sincere wishes for wonderful and fulfilling retirement. Signed, Celeste Roscoe, President, Naima White, Secretary.
Hey, Don Matheny, come on down.
Just like him. His family, not tell who's kid.
Do you have to fix it first?
Whereas Don Matheny has served the Romulus Community School District 19 years in the position of carpenter, and whereas Don Matheny was commended for his dedication and professionalism, and whereas Don Matheny has always demonstrated the ability to get along well with coworkers, and whereas Don Matheny has provided knowledge to the district with his expertise and carpentry skills, and whereas Don Matheny has always worked diligently for the safety of staff, students, and parents with groundskeeping and snow removal. And whereas Don Matheny was lauded by an administrator for being very cooperative, dependable, and willing to help. Now therefore be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby tender this official resolution of gratitude to Don Matheny for his exemplary 19-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The Board of Education also extends to Don Matheny and his family sincere wishes for a wonderful and fulfilling retirement. Celeste Roscoe, President, Romulus Board of Education, and myself, Secretary.
Next again. William Musham. Now this is payback for all the time. Romulus Community School District Board of Education Resolution. Whereas William Musham has served the Romulus Community School District for 33 years in the positions of business education teacher, business education chairperson, community education director, and whereas William Musham was co-coordinator of the recent successful civil rights audit, he designed and implemented a comprehensive K-12 career transitions program, coordinated a district-wide grant that became a model for the state in relationship to integrated technology, was instrumental in designing and implementing the district's technology infrastructure, and whereas William Musham was a sought-after statewide speaker on career education, he was selected to participate in the University of Michigan Leadership Development Program in Administration of Vocational Technical Education by the University of Michigan, and whereas William Musham was an advocate for teacher collaboration and shared decision-making, he was well respected by his peers as a person of the highest integrity. He received many commendations on his excellent attendance record, was commended by Superintendent William Bedell for his work on the District Peace Committee, and whereas William Musham passionately advocated for the at-risk student and was instrumental in the success of community high and adult education, spent countless evenings preparing his students for business competitions and Saturdays accompanying his students to competitions. Whereas William Musham collaborated with peers in the design and implementation of an award-winning district approach to teaching and learning, now therefore be it resolved that the Romulus Board of Education, speaking on behalf of all the people of this community, does hereby commend William Musham for his exemplary 33-year career in the Romulus Community School District. The board also extends best wishes to William Musham and his family on a wonderful and rewarding retirement. Signed, Celeste Roscoe, President, Nima White, Secretary.
Well, guess what? In my opinion, we saved the best for last. Marlene, come on down. Where is she? Did she go home? Well, I'll have to drive over there and make sure she gets this resolution. After we saved it for the last.
239.
Okay, now we got approve, make the motion and
Now I need someone to make a motion for the resolution for the retirements, please.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution in recognition of years of service to the Romulus Community Schools from the approximately, what was it, 11 people?
239 years.
239
Yep,
total years of service.
I'll support it, Celeste.
okay. Motion by Mr. McCavish, supported by Ms. Lanasi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you again to everyone for all the years you've put in here in our community. So, next,
Thank
we'll
you.
turn it back over to Mr. Weiss.
All right, I just want to acknowledge it's a very nice tradition that you have here in Romulus. It's new to me, I'm still getting used to it, but it's always a pleasure to see the people, called up in front and acknowledged for all those good years of service. Moving on to our next agenda item. Okay, good idea.
Ready when you are.
Okay,
All set.
next on the agenda item, Mr. Clark, we have some personnel actions.
Thank you, Mr. Wise, members of the board. We have several personnel actions for you this evening. Our first personnel action is for your information. It is a para recall. Due to a vacancy created in the paraprofessional union, Vicki Webb is being recalled, for your information. Our second personnel action is a retirement. Motion is needed by the board to accept retirement of personnel as submitted. We have Ms. Teresa Blisman, in-house paraprofessional of Barth Elementary, retiring effective July 1st, 2007. And Ms. Marlene Spitzer, bus driver, Transportation Department, retirement effective June 29th, 2007.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the retirement of personnel as submitted.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Mr. Kuderek. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next personnel action is a layoff. It's for your information. You have before you a list of paras and Local 64 staff that are being laid off due to the school district's current economic situation, and the layoff is effective July 15, 2007. Also before you, you will find an addendum that has been added. This addendum includes one more Local 64 member. This person was a staff member of our child care program, and she's a part of the layoff list also. And then finally, our last motion is needed for our teacher layoff. It's a resolution. A motion is needed by the Board of Education of Romulus Schools to accept the recommendation of the superintendent, and due to the school district's current economic situation, which necessitates a reduction in personnel, lay off the individuals as listed from their employment with the school district effective August 15, 2007. And to move that the Secretary of the Board notify each of these individuals in writing of this action and of his or her right to appeal the Board's decision to lay him or her off to the Tenure Commission.
Can we have a motion, please?
Madam President, I'll make a motion to approve the layoff of teachers as listed.
Support.
Motion by Mr. McCavish, supported by Mr. Kuderek. Do we have any questions? All favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, next, bills for payment, Ms. Hazard.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. I'm recommending the board approve the bills submitted for payment for the period May 16th through June 7th, 2007, in the amount of $1,279,075.62.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills as submitted.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Ms. White. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Mr. Charles Kidwell to give us an update on our energy management program. I believe we have accompanying PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, we do. I first of all would like to introduce Rod Bunker, who's here with me from Energy Education. He's my backup, correct my mistakes, or answer any questions that I'm not able to answer. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about our energy program and our savings to date. If you look at the first screen there, you can see that we're looking at our performance period, which is October 2006 through April 2007. And we're going to show you exactly what the net savings are, which were from the beginning of the contract, which started July the 1st. So let's get going. Primary goals of the program. First, of course, to eliminate energy and waste, save money, and to maintain a comfort and safety level in occupied areas. First off, to eliminate the energy waste, we audit buildings during unoccupied times. That's what I do. I'm out on the road on the weekends most of the time, and also in the evenings and the early mornings. We also monitor building usage during occupied times to make sure that we have the equipment is on and the temperatures are ready for the kids when they walk in the door. And also, I, along with all the principals and all the other administrators and so forth, we enforce the energy policies and guidelines. Saving money. We audit and monitor utility bills and meters. We have software that does that for us. We also evaluate usage trends. We look at the buildings individually. We see how they're doing, and we look at underperforming buildings, and we try to figure out what's wrong with them. I get constant consultation from energy education people. They go with me in the buildings. I point out, this building is underperforming. What do we need to do? They give me suggestions, and I put them in place. Maintaining comfort and safety in occupied areas, which is number one for us. We want to coordinate the operation of the equipment to ensure acceptable indoor and outdoor in-air quality and comfort of students and staff. We want, when the kids walk in the door, we want to make sure that we are at 72 degrees, and we want to make sure that the students and staff are comfortable during the day and during their school day. Comparing apples to apples, which is what we do with the software really kind of does for us. In order to make valid comparison between consumption in the base year and consumption in the savings year, certain criteria must be taken into account. And this is kind of what our software does. It takes into account changes in weather. I put in all the weather data for the base year, the highs and lows of each day in every month for the 12 months prior to our starting the program, and then I continue to do that throughout the entire program. Changes in utility unit costs. It's reflected in entering the number of therms or kilowatt hours that we use, as well as what we pay for it, and differences in the length of billing periods. You all know that your billing periods aren't the same. You don't get it as consistent 20 or 30-day periods. Sometimes they go as high as 34, and so forth. The other thing that the software will do for us is it takes into consideration special adjustments, changes in equipment. We don't have any of these things going on right now, but we were at another kayak room, for example, or air conditioned another building or something like that. We could actually put that into the software, and it would take into consideration that. But anyway, that's how we get our apples to apples comparison. Now, utility cost comparison. Compared to the base year and expected utility costs, our base year we spent in electricity roughly $510,000. If we were to continue using electricity at the same rate, this year we would have spent almost $666,000. But with the program, we were able to reduce costs, and at roughly $494,000, almost $495,000. In gas, if you look at our base year is $810,000, almost $811,000. If we would have continued, we would have spent $681,493. The reduction there had to do with a reduction in cost per therm. We went down about 23 or 24 cents per therm, which is why that looks lower. But then with the program, we still showed significant savings at $519,000. The waters on the right there were pretty consistent. You don't see much change. The base year at $19,000. If we would have continued using it the same rate, it would have been $21,000. And then with the program, it's $19,000. So we're only a few $100s there, but water's. The average unit cost comparisons in electricity. In the base year, we spent about 7.75 cents per kilowatt hour, and it went up 28.5%. So we're spending almost a dime now for electricity. Natural gas, you can see that our prices there, $1.54, almost $1.55. We spent last year. This year we're spending about $1.22. So we showed a significant decrease from Exelon. Water, it's up 15.5%. We're paying $3.56 per K-gallon. In the base year, it's up this year to $4.11 per K-gallon. Comparisons in consumption. The actual consumption comparison, you can see the electric 1 year. We saved 1,610,998 kilowatt hours, which is a 24.5% less in usage. You can see it on the graph there at 6.58 as opposed to 4.97. And the same thing on the other side of the screen there with natural gas. We saved 99,383 therms. Rod said if I'd have worked a little bit harder, maybe I'd have saved 100,000 therms, but again, we're down 19%. Those are good numbers. Our numbers compare very, very nicely with the other districts in the state of Michigan. I didn't ask Rod today, but we were either running number 1 or number 2 in the state in the new district. So that's pretty good. I spent some time with an energy manager from Minnesota about 2 weeks ago, and he said he was an energy manager for 3 years, and the best he could ever get in his buildings was 22%. And he was looking at my figures, and he said, I don't even know what to do to help you. He said, you're doing so well, I never got those kind of numbers. And it isn't me, really. It has more to do with the cooperation that we have amongst the principals and the teachers, especially our custodians, and really everybody that works for the district. We all own those figures. Consumption, the comparison on the water, you can see we've reduced our reductions about 12.9%, 5.42 million gallons as opposed to 4.72. This is my favorite screen right here. As you can see where I started the program, I got my training and so forth, and started really, our base period was in October. You can see we didn't do very well in October, but you can see a nice steady rise there. In November, things pick up. December and April, we're looking at $336,622 in cost avoidance. I just looked at the May figures, and we don't have them all in yet, but Rod tells me we saved another $50+ thousand. I think we're right around $392,000. Not too bad. It's pretty exciting. I've never been excited when bills came to my house because I always had to pay them. But, you know, in this job, when they come in, this is my payday because when I put those bills in there and I get to see what we've been saving as compared to the previous year. And for me, it's pretty exciting. Everybody wants to know what the net figures are, and that's what this slide's all about. You can see our $366,000 up there. You can see what the program costs us. My salary's up there, the consulting fees, which go back to July 1st, July 1st in the program. Also, the $13,000 that you see there is, most of that I think is a one-time expense. I think it's the software and my laptop. There is a renewal fee with the software that it'll run somewhere between $500 and $1,000, so that fee will kind of go away on us. My professional development and mileage costs there. So you can see our net cost avoidance at $177,522. Not too shabby. If we were to take and put this all into environmental concerns, which is what everybody likes to do, today you can see that the EPA estimates that every kilowatt hour of avoided electricity use prevents the emission of the following: 1.5 pounds of carbon dioxide, 5.8 grams of sulfur dioxide, 2.5 grams of nitrogen oxides. Our district has saved over 1.72 million kilowatt hours in a 7-month period. This is equal to 2.6 million pounds of carbon dioxide emissions, or the equivalent of taking 241 automobiles off the highways for a year, or planting trees on 499 acres. That concludes my presentation tonight. Do you have any questions?
Madam Chairman, I have a couple quick questions. On the slide before where it had program savings and cost, that figure, am I correct, the cost will go down each year?
Yes.
As far as the cost of the district, it goes down each year, is that correct?
Say that again. Which count?
On the program savings and cost, it had gross cost avoidance, 366,000, total cost 159. We had avoidance of 177,000. The total cost, each year it goes down, doesn't it?
No.
The manager supplies, I thought there was something in,
Exactly. We have a contract with the company, and after several years, we are not responsible for the consultant fees anymore.
yeah, that's, okay. But I mean,
Yeah.
eventually it does go down.
Eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. The answer is yes. I feel like
But also, if I remember right, our first year should be one of our most, our largest savings the first year. And then after that, we shouldn't see as much of a savings each year from the year before, because we've got all these things implemented throughout the school district.
I'm not sure how to answer that. Rod?
If I might,
That's the way I understood it when you presented it to us before.
the incremental change from year 0 to 1 is going to be your biggest year, and it'll probably be over $300,000 or $400,000. In year 2, we will save that plus additional whatever we gain during that second year. But we always count back to the base period. So even though, let's say we end this first year at $500,000, it may be $550,000 in the second year. There will be an incremental change, but it won't be as dramatic as it's not going to double the $500,000.
Right.
But you always measure back against that year prior to the contract.
Correct. I understand.
Madam
Any
Chairman?
other questions?
One other question. We talked about the heating season, the maximum temperature is 72 degrees. Is there anything in the program where maybe you take a building for a month and you lower it to 70 degrees to see, how much more you can save, or?
Actually, the set points of the buildings are at 70 degrees,
which Okay.
gives us a cruising point of 68 to 72. I don't think we want to get any lower on that.
Okay, well, I was just looking at the 72, and that's why I was wondering. So you have the range of 68 to 72?
The
Okay,
set points of every room the set point in every room is 70 degrees during the heating season, and it's 75 right now during the cooling season.
okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead,
I have a couple
Tom.
questions for him. What time during the day are you shutting off the ventilations for the building, the air conditioning, stuff like that, the ventilation, circulations in the building?
It depends. It started out where as soon as the kids left, and it was getting so stifling in there that Don Morris and I met, we talked about it, and we decided we better leave it on till 9 o'clock. That way we could cover all the activities. We could make sure that we were providing our custodians with good air and so forth. So we've played with that a little bit, and we decided to leave it on longer just because it just didn't seem like a good thing to do.
Well, that's what I was getting at, because I was in one of the buildings and they were cleaning some carpet and the fumes were pretty strong. I was just curious if.
Which building was that?
It was the middle school.
Okay.
And, you know, it was pretty strong, and I asked, they said the ventilation was shut off, but now you've changed that since then now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's been on actually for the last about week and a half, for the last 2 weeks of school.
It was in May when I went there, so.
Yeah.
Also, if we're having the AC on the buildings, on all these buildings, which all our buildings do, what is being done about these teachers that are leaving these classroom windows open after they're even gone? That really doesn't seem like it's helping the fact out if they're opening their windows.
You're probably talking about the high school, I'm assuming.
Not the high school pursuit, mainly, but there are a couple schools.
When I find them, I write it up in my audit, and it goes to the principal, and it goes to Sherry.
Okay.
I mean, these.
So the repeat offenders are being, it is being.
We are dealing as best we can with that right now, but we're changing a culture, and it takes a little time to change the culture. These are things that they've been used to doing, and it'll take a little while to get everybody on the same page. We're working at it, though.
Good.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bidwell.
Thank you very much, very informative. Next, we have our group from the Alternative Middle, Adult Ed, and Community High School for presentation to the board.
Wait. I think you skipped me.
No,
We got,
I think you skipped
we
the.
got E.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah, I'm quick. It'll be quick.
Oh, okay. You have to load up. Okay, go ahead and load up, and let's jump back to E. I'm sorry. I need to keep my glasses on. Compass Group USA Amendment, Ms. Pazaklu.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. I'm recommending the board approve an amendment to the existing fixed-price contract with Compass Group, which we call Chartwells in our district. What this involves is, in the after-school programs such as tutoring, they offer snacks. In the past, the district teacher has gone out, purchased the snacks, we've reimbursed the teacher. Through research with Chartwells, we discovered that the National School Lunch Program offers a snack program at the middle school as long as we qualified. Our district qualifies. What it allows us to do is to purchase the snacks through Chartwells. They bill us for them, which we are getting at a cheaper rate, even if they increase the price to to cover their administrative costs. And what the National School Lunch Program is providing back to us is 65 cents. So the district is making about 5 cents. Yearly, that comes out to about $315 or so. So we're doing the same thing, we're just doing it through Chartwells at this point.
so the question I have, is it an added expense to the students that are purchasing them?
No, snacks have never been an expense to the students at after-school programs like tutoring.
Okay.
They've always been covered by a grant or something like that.
Okay, we need a motion, please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the amendment to fixed-price contract between Romulus Community Schools and the food management company Compass Group USA, Chartwells, in our
Support.
district.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Mr. Kuderik. Do we have any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we can continue.
Okay.
Yep.
How are you? It's okay.
What are you doing today?
Here. It's had lots.
We could just pass them down.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could just do that. Yeah, I have to do it.
First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to the school board and the school administrations for this opportunity to give you guys an outlook about the 2006-2007 school year at community education. And as she's getting us booted off here, we first like to invite you all, the board, administration, come over to community high school and see how things are working over there. We have nothing to hide over there, and we hope that you all get a chance to come over there and talk with any of our staff members or our students at any time. Well, first of all, at community high school, we believe that a serious mission statement is very important for us to get things working correctly at community high school. And that starts off by saying Romulus Community Middle and High School will provide a safe, supportive learning environment fostering cultural diversity and focus on academic success and personal growth towards self-actualization of each student. Our curriculum will ensure all students' competence of lifelong learners, capable workers, and responsible citizens. And our philosophy at community high school is that middle and high school has a program philosophy that embraces the non-traditional student. And I think that sets us apart from any of the traditional schools, because if we did the same thing as a traditional school, we wouldn't be as effective with the students that had problems at the traditional schools. And our models academics and behavior paths to success. Our programs work well because we have a highly skilled and caring staff that understand that not all students take the same path to a high school diploma, and that the roads less traveled can lead to success. Now, this next segment, Ms. Peck is going to give you an overview of our 2006 and 2007 outcomes.
I am so glad that something like this happened, because you get to see in action how alternative education deals with trouble and problems. When things come to us, they don't always come to us the way we would like them to come to us. So we make it work anyway. Mr. Grantham just went through our mission statement and some of the philosophies that are ingrained in our building. And every day, if you come there to see us, you'll see those philosophies running through. I just want to take a moment and let you know what we've done this year. This year, we have served 275 community high school students and 30 community middle school students. Of the community high school students, 83 of them did graduate on Thursday. We were very proud. 82% of them are college bound, 17% are workforce, and 1% are military. 90% of these students are first generation college students. So we work hard on getting these students and their families to understand the importance of post-secondary education. Our teaching and professional staff are all highly qualified. 75% of them have a master's plus, and the remaining 25% are all in progress. I was running around the building verifying that yesterday. They're all trained and experts in non-traditional alternative teaching methods. We're very proud of our teachers. They went out and seeked some grant money. We received 2 grants this year, $3,000 from the Ford Foundation, which was used on technology enhancements and field trips, as well as $2,000 from the Irwin Foundation, which was used for the one of the pieces of material up on your desk today. We're also very proud of our outstanding teacher of the year, Karen Powell. The Michigan Alternative Education Organization recognized her and nominated her in Boyne City this year as the Outstanding Teacher of the Year for all of alternative education in Michigan. Regarding our curricular planning, under Mr. Musham's guide and certainly his expertise, he has helped us develop a building-wide approach to developing curricular strategies to meet these 2011 grad requirements. It's a big challenge for us, but we know that we can do it. Our plan includes cross-curricular plans that integrate academics in both core content and elective areas, and that's how we're meeting our graduation requirements come 2011. North Central accreditation. We are an accredited special purpose school. Our school improvement teams have been working very hard this year. Some of the things that they've worked on include the school climate surveys. A week did not go by where a survey didn't come floating about my desk or a student's desk or a parent's mailbox or a teacher's desk. They also worked on student test preparation, interviewing students, finding out how the teachers can help better prepare them for their tests, as well as collaborative learning opportunities are investigated this year. We continue our partnership with Wayne County Community College. We're very proud of our partnership with Wayne County. We think that it has helped to improve the post-secondary options for many of our students. We have 240 plus students this year that attended classes on their college campus. We've also integrated the Ford Partnership for Advanced Studies. This is an advanced program that focuses on careers in math, science, engineering, and technology. All of our past teachers this year, we have 5 of them, have been invited to attend and present at the national conference in Louisville, which they will be doing on their dime. That's Ford Pass's dime. We also have a teacher who is a national trainer for Ford Pass. We are a hotbed for visitors. We love visitors. Our doors are open. We open them to you as we've opened them to all of the visitors that we've had. The National Governors Association came in to visit with us regarding the Ford Pass curriculum. The Ford Foundation is constantly in and out of our building. Chicago Public Schools, slow down there, Reggie. Chicago Public Schools has come twice this year to see how we're doing the alternative model, as well as various other non-traditional alternative schools in the state of Michigan.
Okay, our future plans for community education is to continue to reinforce the non-traditional path to academic success by looking at the best practices and keeping on the educational research in the areas of alternative and non-traditional education. We also want to develop the student leadership program through committees such as the Leadership Committee, Student Council, College Fair Committee, Yearbook Club, and the Math Club. We also want to implement the first phase of our 2011 graduation requirements and curriculum. We have just told you about what we do, what we have accomplished here at Community High School. And with our new yearbooks, with our teachers, this is the first year that our students have had some involvement of completing the yearbook. And now we have shown you what we've completed, and now this is who we are with these new yearbooks, and you are welcome to keep those for yourself. And please come over and see us at Community Education. And with that, that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions from anybody?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to comment on graduation last week. I think it was one of the larger classes that I've been able to attend the last few years that I've been on the board, and I think it's really great that we have this for the kids, to offer it for all the young people, because they're not kids. They're out there in the world, and so many of them are working and you know, living on their own and everything else. You know, they have a lot of obstacles to overcome, and it's good. They're proud, and they should well be proud.
Well, on behalf of our staff, we all thank you there, and because they worked very hard to be where they are today.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Madam President, I'd like to make a couple comments. My daughter lives on the west side of the state, and she's writing a grad paper about alternative high schools. And she visited some out there, and she came to Romulus the other day and visited ours, and she was quite amazed from the standpoint on the west side of the state. When she went to a community high school type program, if a student wanted to learn 6th grade math, they were put in 6th grade math, and that's all they did. They didn't really set goals for them or push them to improve beyond that. And she was quite impressed with the program here, because you were always, you know, telling the students they have to improve, they have to go up. She was impressed with the PASS program and the community college program and things. So she was quite happy that she came home to visit for that day, and it was really a big boost in her writing the paper. But I know I spent the afternoon there, and I've been there in the past, and it is an excellent program, and hopefully we can keep her going.
Well, the one thing about that is we're not just trying to help the students graduate, we're also trying to help them get a plan for after high school, whether it's going to college or a trade or even to the armed service. So Ms. Peck works very hard at completing those guys' and gals' plans.
Madam President,
Go ahead, Bay.
this has always been one of my favorite programs, the adult education, because these are people who chose to come back to further their education, to make something of their life. Nobody told them they had to do this. They did it on their own. And I think it's great what you have done. I, too, was impressed with Thursday's graduation. It was a large class. And what really impressed me is, as big as it took me 45 minutes.
Well, we worked very hard in chopping it down some because it was very hot up in there.
Very
So-
warm.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, you know, I gotta commend your whole staff over there, Mr. Grantham, because being on a board member, coming off the stage, I had a parent come up to me and commended me on the program, and really, they should have talked to you folks. But the program, I mean, and looking in this yearbook, there's even more students in here that myself and Mrs. Roscoe and other board members have had or have known in years that have, you know, some reason just didn't fit right into high school, that came there and chose to come back to continue on. I mean, there's a next door neighbor of mine here, I've got a niece in here, I mean, it's a great program, and the way you run it over there, I've heard a lot of good things about it, and the students respect the staff over there, which is a great thing there, too. And that's a hard thing to get accomplished.
All right, thank you very much. We've had a lot of people that groomed us real well. First starting off with Mr. Wilkerson and Mr. Musham right here, who's you know, retiring after this year. I also like to thank him for all the things that he have taught me and Ms. Peck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great
Thank you.
presentation, folks.
Good job.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have approval of HOSA National Conference, June 19th through the 23rd.
Can I get a motion, please?
Okay, I would like to make the motion to approve it as presented to the board.
Support. Motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Ms. Buckley. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next we have adoption of a resolution as recommended by the National School Boards Association regarding possible amendments to No Child Left Behind. Again, we need a resolution there.
Have a motion, please?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolution for amendment to No Child Left Behind Act of 2001.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Mankiewicz, supported by Ms. Lanasi. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So that's it for all our business. Next, we have communications and expressions from the public. I've only got one in front of me. Roberta Keene. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you.
This is my son Jared.
Okay.
No.
I tap it, I don't think it's on. There you go.
Is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Okay. This is my son Jarrett. I've been here twice before because Jarrett isn't allowed to be going to school and he's not receiving an education. He was allowed at the beginning of the year after an IEP at MSRP to only go to school half a day, in the morning only. In which case I found out by not going to school in the afternoon, he never went to art, he's never been to gym, he's never been to music, and he's never been to computer class. Jarrett has autism. He has Asperger's syndrome. And now, after a second IEP, now they only want him to go to school an hour a day. Jarrett, would you like to tell the school board about school?
About something I want to go to school again.
He wants to go to school again. He asked me last night, go back with Daddy. He asked me last night if he went in and hugged and kissed his teacher and told her he missed her if he could go back to school. He's not allowed to ride the bus. And as I said, after October 31st, when he wasn't allowed to be in a Halloween parade unless I walked with him, that's when I found out when I went to take him back to class in the afternoon. He was escorted out of class by his teacher, asked to be taken home because he had never been to art. At the last school board meeting, I asked Superintendent Weiss, that I was attended. You have all kinds of programs for kids that are behind. Where are the programs for the kids that excel? And do you treat autistic children at Hale Creek Elementary School? The answer to were there any classes available for him for students that excel, he reads at a 3rd, 4th grade level, he writes, and the answer was, we don't have any. And I said, if you don't have any programs for autistic children in your schools, then when the paperwork comes across your desk for him to possibly go to Berger or a school that deals specifically with autism, whether it be nonverbal, non-speaking, or high-functioning autism like Jarrett's, that you would consider signing the papers. As of this week, I wanted to take a tour of Berger School to make sure that that would be the right school for him. The only way that I can go to any schools that offer special education or teaching for autistic children is if I am referred by my own school. They refuse to do that. The solution, as I said, is to go 1 hour a day. Now, I don't know if they're going to make him go to kindergarten again next year. If they're going to say an hour a day, then he needs a bus to pick him up and take him to school and bring him home. I live 4 blocks from the school. My son isn't allowed to ride the bus because he had bus buddies and the driver let someone else sit with him, and in a state of fear, because change is one of the #1 things that causes distress in autistic children, he hit another child. I did not get informed. He would not get off the bus when he got to school. He did not eat for 2 days until I got a piece of paper in the mail that said he hit someone on the bus. And in talking to him and the children on the bus and the bus's aide, he was scared because his bus buddies weren't sitting with him. He's never been allowed to go to lunch unless he earns it. I received multiple calls. I have him taped on voicemail. Mrs. Keene, please come and get Jarrett. He won't take a timeout. These phone calls are occurring at 9:15, 15 minutes after school starts. As I told Superintendent Weiss, I spent 6 weeks in that classroom every day with the teacher because there was no aide in there. I also spent that 6 weeks to familiarize the bus driver with my son and his situation. And everyone assured us that Jarrett could go to Hale Creek Elementary School. And the very first thing that Mrs. Knight said to me was that we can't treat Jarrett any differently than we treat any other child. And that's what's been done from day one. He's never been allowed to go to school all day. He's been ostracized, stigmatized, and now I don't believe this is the school he needs to go to. So if the Romulus School Board and the Romulus school system cannot find a place or cannot educate my son, then I would like to know who can and who will, and if this continues, the lawyers that I've consulted with, I will be no choice but to retain them. I've been pushed around, bullied, blatantly lied to, scoffed at by members of the school board when I said I wanted to get my son an education, and someone said, good luck. You'd like to review the tapes, you go right ahead. But what it boils down to is that 6-year-old boy who reads at a 3rd, 4th grade level and writes is not allowed to go to school because he can't sit and take a timeout. And the reason he can't sit and take a timeout is because of his autism. So I feel that if there's nowhere for him to go to school, I said I don't like to use the word discrimination. I talked to Mr. Clark before. It's a very strong word. But you just approved a No Child Left Behind. That's the child that's left behind right now. And next year, I don't want to hear him being put into kindergarten. That's where the behavior comes from. He's learning everything he already knows. His speech regressed. His behavior regressed. He doesn't eat from the anxiety. This is not good for him. This is why he was taken out of school. And I would also like to make it very clear. In the second IEP, they wrote that I took that boy out to homeschool him. I'm not an educator. I'm just a mom that's home, and I taught him while I was home. Your job is to give him an education, not mine.
Thank you. We'll get back with you. I'm not familiar with all the ins and outs of everything
You
you've
have
been
no
through.
recollection of me being here twice
Yeah,
earlier.
I
and-
do.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everyone remembers.
Madam
But-
Chair,
I thought it was resolved.
I thought it was too.
I
Has he
guess
been-
my concern is that this is your third time here. We haven't made we haven't
Right.
resolved it. So Superintendent Weiss, can you let
Mrs.
us
King,
know
when's the
what's
last time
going
that
on?
Jared attended school?
December 18th, the
And
last day of his
that's the-
IEP.
That's the reason that this hasn't gone any farther. Is my understanding from Mrs. Knight and Mrs. Mitchell is that they've attempted to work with this parent, but the child has not been in school. She's refused to bring him to school.
No, I don't refuse to bring him to school. I am a disabled worker, disabled American. I have physical and emotional disabilities. I was expected every day to come and pick my son up for the most ludicrous reasons. Someone has had the audacity to put down attendance as a problem. When you send a child home from school every day, that's not my problem. That's your doing. He wants to be there. He wants to be with those kids. He's sent home continually. I have multiple people and witnesses and actually news media right now that are interested in this story. This is unbelievable, ludicrous. I cannot believe that a 6-year-old child can't go to school. That's what it boils down to. And he's not allowed to have a bus. He's not allowed to have a special bus. Now we have an IEP that says developmental delay. That's what I said. So next year when he's 7, they're going to try to put him into kindergarten again. He reads 200-page books. You can't open a child's mind to reading and then put him back in kindergarten, and when he comes home and says, the cat, the house.
Mrs. Keene, I hate to interrupt you, but this really isn't the format for us to debate this. I'd be happy to meet with you, and I would meet with Mrs. Mitchell. I've offered that before.
We spoke before. You said you couldn't do better. You said I shouldn't expect that.
Again, I'm not going to debate with
Okay.
you.
Then
but
you
if
will
if you
debate
want-
with my
please let me
attorneys
finish.
and the news and the media, because that's where I will go from this meeting.
But we can't come to any, we can't tell you anything any different tonight, it's just sitting here. So we'll have to get back with you.
Madam.
Okay,
Madam
I just
Chair.
like to know too that the first call that I made to the school board was in October of 2005. Thank you for your promptness.
Madam Chair, I would just like to say something because she has been here several times.
Yeah.
And we thought it was
I thought it was
resolved.
resolved.
There has to be some type of resolution. I mean, you just can't keep going around in a circle, so.
Part of the reason too that you didn't hear from me after December was
Can't
attributary
get her to
to
come
the
to a
stress
meeting.
and the situations and me having to go and get Jarrett from school. I had to have emergency surgery. And so that's why Jarrett, and with autism and Asperger's, I don't have someone to watch him.
Is he certified autistic?
Yes, he is. I took him to an outside psychologist because I didn't want to wait for the school board to approve another school psychologist who said he has Asperger's syndrome. The school wants notes. The psychologist said that's not necessary. That's personal and confidential. He's given a diagnosis. I have a second diagnosis from a Michigan State graduate psychologist who works in a different school system. Her opinion isn't accepted because she's my niece. I don't have insurance on my son. I spent his whole savings going to a psychologist who gave us a diagnosis. As a matter of fact, before I go, in one of your papers that I get in every single piece of packet of schoolwork I get from your school, procedural safeguards available to parents of students with disabilities. You want me to go back on the mic?
You don't have to read it to
No.
us.
Well,
We-
it says at the bottom, and I said, I didn't go through a second person through you. I didn't have the time. I wanted him in school. It says at the bottom that if the parent obtains an IEE at his or her own expense, the results of the evaluation must be considered by the public agency and any decision made with respect to the provision of a FAPE to the student, which was and is, my notes are on different papers. You know what FAP stands for, a fair and public education, I believe that's what it is.
It's free, appropriate public
There you
education.
go. And may be presented as evidence at a due process hearing regarding the student.
Right, I think our dilemma, as I tried to explain to you, is number one, we can't refer him to Berger or anywhere else when he doesn't come to school. Number two, we've repeatedly asked for documentation from you, and there's been a lack of communication in that regard, but we will be happy to bring closure to this. Should you wish to meet with me and the special ed staff involved, we have tried to work with you.
No, not
Okay.
one person from this board has returned my calls. No one. No one. I spoke to Mr. Edward Clark when I went over the policies of discrimination months ago because I said I don't throw discrimination out lightly. There's also an article in the paper.
Excuse me. We can continue this later after the meeting, but we have,
Don't want the public to know?
Your 5 minutes.
you have 5 minutes. We've gone over that. But there's a lot of stuff that the board hasn't been aware of, and we're going to talk to Mr. Weiss, and then we'll have him get a hold of you.
I just don't understand how you haven't been aware since I said calls were made to you at 2005 October. No IEP
We
was
haven't
until April
individually
2006.
received
The
calls.
board, the board
haven't.
has not received
have
calls.
those.
It's a
Right.
difference between the board and the administrative offices.
Well, the administrative
And-
offices on 2 weeks before school started, she contacted me and gave me the whole spiel that he can't go to school because his IEP says so.
Well-
It doesn't say so. It's illegal.
Well, we appreciate you coming, but the first thing I'm trying to say is, we, as a whole, the board, isn't aware of the fact that he hasn't been in school since December 18th. We're not aware of a lot of things that you've just said to us.
Okay,
As
well, I would
far
like you to
As
know-
far as what's happened since December.
Just for the school sending that he's
So-
not in school in attendance, I have calendar dates marked every single day that he was sent home. An hour after school, 30 minutes after
Okay.
school, and the
I
idea
believe
that...
you. We
Yeah,
will,
ask not to come to school when there's a substitute, and then counted absent on those days when you ask him to stay home. That's just ridiculous.
what we'll do is what I'm asking you to do, is let us talk, let us get together with Mr. Weiss, and let us get back to you. That's what I'm asking you to do.
Well,
And-
that's when I was here in November and you asked me to do, and I
Well,
waited.
I'm asking you to
and-
do it again, because we have not been aware of the fact that he has not been in school since December 18th. As a board, I don't think anybody here is aware of that.
No.
We had no idea there was no
So as fairness
it wasn't
to us
resolved.
as a board,
There's no sense sending a child to school. It's like sending him in the lion's den every day. Would you go to work every single day if people said that you were bad and they hated you
I
and to go
can't do
home?
anything unless you let us discuss it and let us work with Mr. Weiss and get back with you. There's
What
nothing I
time
can tell
limit?
you tonight.
Give me a time limit.
We'll get back with you by the end of the week. I'll have Mr. Weiss or Mr. Clark call you.
Well, I said, I'm not sure
I'm
Hale
not
Creek
aware,
is where
we're not
he is.
aware of half the things that you're telling us. I'm not saying we're not aware of the fact that you were here in the fall. I'm saying we're not aware of what's gone on since you've been here in December.
Well, that's just a shame because I said I contacted and started making calls to the Romulus School Board in October 2005.
When you call administration office, you get administration. When you call our individual homes, you get board members. Just for your information and for the public's information.
Well,
We're
I
not
have gone
always,
through the chain of command.
Okay.
I've been polite. I've been
and I'm
actually...
asking you to give us to the end of the week and someone will get back with you.
All righty.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody else? I don't have anybody else in front of us. So, Mr. Weiss, I'll give it back to you. Interest from the superintendent.
All right, real quickly, you have in your packet several items of interest. The latest and final wingspan from the high school, which was another excellent newspaper. Great work by the students and staff there. Minutes from the Climate Committee. Thank you on the field day. Some sorted school newsletters, the Merriman Star, the Core Elementary Calendar, the Barth News. Also, copies of quick guides to legislation. There's some very important bills pending in the Michigan House and Michigan Senate that concern education and educators. And also the latest newsletter from Hale Creek. That's all I have.
Okay. Next, we go on to questions and concerns from the board members. First of all, we have moving up ceremonies on Tuesday and Wednesday for all our elementary schools, and everyone If you need more times, I have them here. If not, it looks like everyone's going to be somewhere. We try to divide it up so we have representation in all our schools, because of course, there's three on Tuesday night, 3 on Wednesday night, and we can't be at all of them. But we'll be there. Some of us will be there. Also, graduations was last week. Graduations were really nice. Community high schools graduation was a little warm, but thankfully Saturday wasn't. It was beautiful. It was really nice, and it stayed really comfortable in there, and everyone did a really, really great job, and we really enjoyed it. And of course, it didn't rain on prom last Wednesday night, and so all the kids were happy.
Yeah.
We were all happy for them. That went really well. I understand they had a really great time. I understand everyone finally eventually got home. So.
Finally.
Finally. So, but other than that, on a personal note, I want to thank everyone for the cards and everything. I missed the last board meeting. My son was in the hospital, and appreciate all the thoughts and concerns and phone calls and everything everyone sent towards me and my family and towards Carl. He's doing lots better, still gingerly walking around, but thankfully he's doing real well. And other thing is this is our last formal board meeting before school's out, so after this, we can dress casually. Just come as you are. Just get here. Just don't forget. And the other thing is to remember to get all your information in for Sherry by the end of June.
Yes, and I have dollar amounts to share with you if you
Okay.
need them from me.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm leaving it up to everyone else for everything I forgot. Cheryl?
Oh, okay, I'll go first. I just kind of wanted to kind of say a couple of things. First, we haven't had a board meeting since we had the Senior Athletic Award Banquet. That was tremendous. Mark Woodson and his staff of helpers that he has, his team, puts on an excellent banquet for these seniors to commend them on their performance all through high school. So it was a great affair. And also, the middle school awards night was wonderful. You should see these 7th and 8th graders. It was 116 total that was on honor roll all year. That's amazing. It seems to grow and grow every year. So I'm really proud of our middle school students, and a lot of them be coming to the high school, and looking forward to that. So we got some great leaders, looks like, coming up. So I'm really proud of our students.
Madam Chair, I looks like that, the economy in Michigan is pretty rough, but our seniors in the class of 2000 was able to secure $1.7 million in scholarships, and that should be commended also onto the Guidance Center with the counselors and Mrs. Bragg, the secretary, and helping the students, getting the information and telling them where to apply and everything, and all the teachers writing letters of recommendation for the students. I mean, with the economy the way it is, to secure $1.7 million for further education, there's a lot of parents out there that are probably breathing a little bit easier, myself included.
Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, I want to commend our counselors. I think that was great. That was one of the things I wanted to say. Also, everybody's touched on everything. I too want to say that the athletic banquet was a class act. Mr. Woodson does an excellent job, and I think it's another one of our nicest things that has just been started. I sure hope we can continue that. The other thing I wanted to say is I want to congratulate Barth. They got their rock back with all the signatures on it, and I think it's just great that Mr. Smith and his 6th graders are the ones that did this. They wrote all those letters to the rock company, and they finally got them to stand behind what they were supposed to do in the first place. And I want to say one other thing. I think this the schools are looking really great. I was impressed with the way the senior high looks, and that one especially. It's right out there on the main highway, one of a busily traveled highway, and I sure would like to see it kept that way all year round, not just when company comes in. But it looks so nice right now, and I'm just so proud of it. I wish it could stay that way. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
Madam Chair, I'd like to share something. The Boys and Girls Club of Romulus held a fundraiser. They sold flowers a few weekends ago, and they raised $303.50. And to show their gratitude for the partnership between the Boys and Girls Club and Romulus Community Schools, they have donated those funds back to the school district. So I wanted to share that with you. I accepted the check because I'm on the advisory committee there. So just so you know that they appreciate
That's
your
neat.
commitment to their program for our students.
You know, I'd like to add, I transport from the senior towers an elderly woman in her 80s who is in the grandparents program, back and forth to Wick Elementary. She's works with Miss Woods, and I don't know what the other teacher's name is. Yeah, she works between the two classes. And she was real concerned because, you know, now summer's coming, school's out, and she was talking about going to Detroit for some program. Well, this is an 81, 82, she's older than I thought. She does not look it, believe me. But anyway, I told her about the Boys and Girls Club, and I said, why don't you talk to Mrs. Johnson or Mrs. Woods, whoever can help you. Maybe you could get in on and help out with that program in the mornings. And I said, you'll still be in our city, and we can still transport you from, you know, the city side. So I'm hoping she can get in there.
Well, they welcome volunteers.
Yeah. You know, she's already been checked out, so she's fine.
Sherry, you think they could raise like $2 million?
I'd be embarrassed to ask.
That's a lot of flowers.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? Okay, we need an executive session, and it's in regards to negotiations on the lease of property. And we do have action that will be taken afterwards.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that we convene in executive session.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Mankiewicz, supported by Mr. Kuderick. We do need roll call, please.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Ms. Kudrick?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. Minkavi?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Pass that
Yes.
back over to
Okay,
got it.
I need a motion to adjourn back,
I would like to,
Reconvene.
to reconvene.
I would like to make a motion that we reconvene
Support.
from executive session.
We need a roll call, please.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Kudrick?
Yes.
Lanasi?
Yeah.
Minkavi?
Yes.
Roscoe?
Yes.
White? Yes.
Okay, now we need to take care of business. We need a motion to approve the lease of the Burton Center.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the lease agreement between Romulus Community Schools and the Guidance Center, who will occupy the Burton Center for the length of this agreement.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Mankiewicz, supported by Ms. Lanasi. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Now, we don't have any other business, so we need a motion to adjourn from.
I'd like to make that motion to adjourn, please.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Ms. White. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you, folks.